Welcome everybody to another episode of LeanTakt. I'm your host. I'm just kidding. You already know who I am. Anyway, hope you're having a good day. We have a question, and I'm going to read it from my computer here. We have a school project with areas such as classrooms that are running Takt and large areas such as auditorium and bathrooms that are doing pull plans. How do we illustrate the pull plans on the overall Takt schedule so that we don't have multiple disconnected scheduling systems? That's a really good question. All right, so we're going to go into this here a little bit. The basis of the question is this. You know, if we have classrooms in a school, and I don't know what it exactly looks like, and then, you know, maybe this big gymnasium and then a cafeteria right over here, right? And the question is, we need to takt this out, but if we takted this whole thing out, it wouldn't look like a bunch of really nice, pretty takt trains like we typically deal with, right? There's going to be some differences here. So what I heard was that in the bathrooms, we're doing, in the auditorium, we're doing pull plans. So I do want to say one more time, well, let me do it like this. So if you have your classrooms, and this is repetitive work, and you've broken down your areas into takt zones, right? And you have that broken out. When you create that takt zone, and you've created that sequence of activities, we're going to get into some good stuff. I just thought of doing something here. Okay. That's essentially a pull plan. When you do a pull plan, usually you have a milestone, right? And that milestone is at the end, and you pull the activities backwards in a sequence. You might have some activities that stack, right? You might even have some where there's quite a few that stack, right? So this, when we're pulling backwards, we create this sequence. Okay, this is a pull plan. Really is nothing other than a collaborative takt train. So what I mean by that is that really to create takt trains in the first place so that we can then see them on top of each other. So there's one, there's the other area. So there's area 1, area 2, area 1, area 2, or takt zone 1, takt zone 2. And you can see these in a flow. Now, like I said in the other video, you can see the flow in the area of work, you can see the trade flow, and you can see the logistical flow. So really all a takt plan is the stacking or the combination of pull plans together to see not only workflow, but trade flow and design and logistical flow. Fantastic stuff. So when you're, the Germans, I'm just kidding, the Germans, when they do takt planning, they will actually have the work steps and the work packages, just like a pull plan here, in detail like this, and then they ask themselves, what gets packaged into takt trains? Not takt trains, takt wagons. So they might say those two fit nicely into a takt wagon. This one fits into a takt wagon. All 4 of those, because they happen at the same time, can fit into a takt wagon. That fits into a takt wagon. That one at the end. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 takt wagons. 1, 2, 3, and maybe this one has 2. 4, 5, 6 takt wagons, and then if you have these as repetitive areas, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, then you have area 1 to 2 to 3. Can you still see me down here? Why didn't anybody let me know? You can't even see me. Okay, so anyway, I'll just hold this thing up. That's weird to do on a YouTube channel, but anyway, you just see these going down. But this pull plan, portions of these, you package these work packages into a takt wagon, and that then summarizes the takt train. So there's really pull planning. If somebody told me, hey, we're doing pull planning for the other areas, great. Pull plan to create your takt trains. And so then you can break this up. If you have a pull plan for the cafeteria or the auditorium, usually we would say, hey, we're going to pull plan this cafeteria, we're going to pull plan this auditorium. The problem with that is it ignores this line right here, the trade flow and the logistical flow. So pull planning most of the time asks, hey, here's our milestone, when do I want to be done with this whole area? And then people are like, well, let me pull it backwards. But they're pulling through the whole area. break this auditorium. Let's say there's bleachers over here. Let's say there's some courts over here, whatever. Break this into multiple segments. Maybe this is a segment in the middle, segment in the middle, segment, to where you have takt zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when you create your pull plan, you can create it just like I was showing, but once you create that, you can have takt train number 1, and maybe it's a little bit different rhythm. Takt train number 2, maybe it's the same rhythm, but then when you get down here to 3 and 4, maybe that looks a little bit different. Maybe it's longer, right? Okay, and then when you get over here to 5 and 6, and I'm just using different colors to symbolize the different areas, right? Maybe it's even shorter, right? You can still come through here and analyze not only the flow of work in each area and the logistical flow this way, but you can start to see if you have takt wagon number, number 5, and then the 5s are over here, 5, and then 5, let's actually do it like this, 5, 5. Well, you want flow this way as well, so should you move these reds up in the sequence and move these down so that you have a nice trade flow as well? So really, takt planning applies everywhere. So there really isn't areas where we say it's just going to be the last planner with pull planning by itself. We still want to see these pull plans coordinated where you see work, trade, and logistical flow. And so last thing that I'll say with this one is, if you have classrooms, you might have a takt phase. That's what I need to find out what the Germans call it. But this, right, and I love the Germans. So the that's going to be a running joke. So this is the classroom takt phase, or you can say it's the takt train sequence of takt trains. But that might be the classrooms right over here, right? The cafeteria might be shown down in a lower section, and the cafeteria might have a couple, like, this is food prep, this is the serving area, and it might look a little bit different, right? So this is the cafeteria, okay? And then the gymnasium or the auditorium, this might have a couple, this is the bleacher area, and this is the center area, and then this is the courts. But you've analyzed it for trade flow in here, and you show it on your takt plan, and this is for your auditorium. And this entire takt plan that you print out will show all of those phases together with the interdependency ties that make sure that all of the critical crossovers are accounted for in that takt plan. Now, if that isn't confusing as heck, I don't know what is. See, it's just that simple. Anyway, I hope that answers the question. Let me just say one more thing before we're done here. We want to prevent non-inevitable variation so that we can deal with inevitable variation. So if you do say, hey, I want to deal with the auditorium strictly with last planner, and I don't want to break it into the areas, and I don't want to see trade flow, which I don't know why we would do that, but if you said, hey, I'm just doing true last planner without takt here, be careful not to do it all at once, because then you're increasing work in process. See, everything about lean assumes that we're reducing work in process, which means we finish areas as we go in smaller areas as we go one piece flow. So if we pull plan this whole area and you're doing all of the flooring at once and all the ceiling at once, that's increasing work in process, and we don't want to do that. So remember that. But if you do want to just handle this with just last planner and have these be in takt, let the people running these do it in takt. Their capacity will increase because their load will reduce, so you can focus here. We want to put anything that's typical and rhythmic on a rhythm and make it standard and steady so that we can focus on the areas that are not steady, that are not standard, and focus on the inevitable variation and not the non-inevitable variation. So whether you turn this into a Takt plan from your pull plans, and then from the Takt plan do your look aheads and your weekly work plans, which is what I recommend. That's the system I use. If you don't do that, just show on your visual maps that this is managed in Last Planner, this is managed in Takt, and use the two systems. But essentially there is no need, because all a Takt train is a combination and the packaging into Takt wagons of the sequences in a pull plan, and that's called a Takt train. So I hope this has been helpful. On we go.